In this video, I'll be counting down the most surprising Google Maps hacks and tricks that many travelers don't know about, saving the newest for last that I bet none of you use. Let me know in the comments if that's true. Now, in case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel advice from someone who's been there, done that. So be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. Now, we'll start with a basic one that most people already know about by now, but is honestly so important, and that's downloading offline maps in case you're in a situation where you don't have any internet access. This will allow you to access an offline map and find navigational instructions even when you don't have service. This can, of course, be so useful for once you've just arrived in a new place. So, to use this Google Maps feature, simply go to the area on Google Maps that you'd like to save, then type in OK Maps and press download. Or you can tap on a specific destination pin and scroll to the right until you see the button for Download Offline Map. The next feature you need to be using is making lists with emojis. Saving places onto Google Maps isn't a new idea by any means, and is something that I've been doing for years. But a relatively recent development is you can now save things to different lists and assign them with emojis. So I have a new method of using lists that I think is super useful for travel, so give me a second and let me share it with you. Now, in the past, people would commonly just star things as they went, whether that was a nice restaurant, museum, or cafe. Or sometimes people will use a special location-specific emoji for each destination. I actually don't think this is the most efficient use of this feature. Instead, what I recommend you do is actually save things to lists based on category. So coffee shops, bakeries, museums, cool photo spots, etc. This way, when you look at your maps in different locations, you have a quick overview of what those saved spots actually are. So you can see which coffee shops are saved nearby or which museums are close by, and this gives you much more information at a glance compared to just using a single emoji for the entire destination that you're visiting. So to use this Google Maps feature, simply do your research as you normally would, then search up any place you want to save and press the Save button. Then you can create a new list by pressing the New List button at the top, naming the list or giving it a description. Then click Choose Icon to assign it a relevant emoji. You can then save any future spots to that list as well. Of course, to use any of these features, you do need to make sure you have mobile data on your travels. And the easiest way to do that these days is by far by getting an eSIM. So on that note, this week's video is brought to you by Airlo, my go-to eSIM provider that has options for over 200 different countries and regions all around the world. Having data access is really crucial these days for all kinds of things, especially navigation and using all these fun Google Maps tricks. Now, once upon a time, getting a local SIM meant having to switch cumbersome physical SIM cards in and out. But luckily, these days, eSIMs offer a much simpler solution while still avoiding steep roaming fees. For those unfamiliar with them, eSIM stands for Embedded SIM, meaning they are pre-installed on your device and work 100% digitally to connect you with local telecom networks, meaning no more struggling with physical SIMs. And setting one up couldn't be easier. Just download the Airlo app, and from there you can easily browse and purchase your eSIM of choice, set it up by following their instructions, and you'll have data access as soon as you land. So if you're ready to try Airlo out, you can scan this QR code for a link to download the app and use this code right here to get a discount off your first purchase. You can also check out my complete Airlo guide to see step-by-step how to set it all up. So thanks again to Airlo for sponsoring this week's video. Now let's continue with our list of fun Google Maps hacks and tricks. We'll do a fun one now, which is simply changing your vehicle icon. Now, I will admit this isn't a super practical and useful one, but I do think it's really fun and not that many people know about it, so just in case you didn't know, these days you can actually change the vehicle that shows up on Google Maps when you're navigating. So to use this Google Maps trick, simply choose your route, press start, tap on the time estimate, and then go to vehicle icon to choose which one you like. Speaking of vehicles, another very handy feature of Google Maps is you can actually set your parking location so you never lose track of where your car is. To use this feature, simply park up, then hold down on your area, usually marked by a blue dot, then scroll to the right until you see the 3 dots and more button, then press set as parking location. A lot of the time, Google Maps can also be weirdly smart, so if it detects that you're driving and then all of a sudden you're stopped, then it might actually ask you if you want to save this as a parking location because they know you're parked. So that's another really easy way to do it. Now, if you're traveling and you're carrying bags, one thing you might want to do is avoid stairs as much as possible. Well, there actually is a way to plan routes that avoid stairs and prioritize elevators. Granted, it's not perfect and its helpfulness does vary a lot depending on the destination, but by turning on wheelchair accessible under route options, it will show you routes that prioritize elevators. So, to use this feature, type in the route that you plan to do, click on your desired mode of transport, then look at the different boxes. Scroll to the right until you see route options, which include best route, fewest transfers, least walking, lowest cost, and wheelchair accessible. And make sure that that wheelchair accessible one is checked off. Now, another very underrated feature, especially if you're always late, is you can actually plan your route on Google Maps based on when you want to arrive. This is great because it takes into account traffic patterns and other considerations to help get you there on time. To use this feature, simply search up your route as you normally would, then click on your desired mode of transport. You should then be able to see a little box that says Leave Now with an arrow. When you click on that arrow, it should allow you to choose other options like when to arrive, and even the last available option with public transport as well, which is really handy for nights out. Another great trick that I only recently found out about on Google Maps is using it to easily find places along the way. So let's say you're on a road trip and you need a gas station or a food stop, you can actually search for these without needing to start a whole new search. And here's how. First, choose your route and start navigating. Then press on this magnifying glass symbol and choose the category of thing that you're looking for. And there's so many great features with this. If you're looking for gas stations, for instance, sometimes it'll even show you the prices, which I think is crazy. Now, another fun Google Maps hack is you can actually use it to get help ordering from a restaurant by looking at their menu highlights. This will show you all the most popular dishes. So to use this trick, simply search a restaurant, scroll to the menu tab, and then look at photos under highlights to see what the most popular and delicious looking dishes are. Granted, this isn't always foolproof because it basically just scrapes reviews for recurring terms and matches up the terms with photos, so there might be older retired items on the list, but I do find that having a visual of the food can be super helpful, especially in another country. Related to this is another fun trick, which is for some restaurants, you can even make restaurant bookings right within the app. To use this trick, just search your restaurant, scroll to the reservations tab if it's there, and make a booking. Another really cool feature that most people don't know about is you can actually make sense of larger areas like airports and malls just by using the directory tab. This little known tab is a goldmine for seeing all the spots in one larger area in an organized place. So to do this, simply search up your airport or mall of choice on Google Maps, then scroll along these little blue bubbles until you see directory. Press that and it's going to load up all the different businesses that are located on the premises. And it'll even divide them up into different categories too, like airlines, food and drink, shopping, lounges, and more. Another great feature if you have terrible memory yet are weirdly nostalgic and sentimental like me, is you can actually easily keep track of your travels with the timeline feature. This feature basically keeps a log of all the places you've visited, along with the journeys you took to get there, divided by walking, driving, and other modes of transport. If you travel often, this feature is amazing for keeping track of places and looking back on where you've gone. Oftentimes, it'll even note down the names of restaurants, cafes, and attractions as well, logging how long you spent there. Granted, this feature can be a bit hit and miss, so sometimes it won't get the exact restaurant, maybe they'll think you were in the place next door, but I do find it's so useful to have a map record of where I've gone. Some people might find this feature a little creepy, but honestly, as a travel blogger, it has saved me so many times when I forgot the restaurants I went to and their names. So I love recommending this feature to people who also like to keep track of where they go. So to use this Google Maps feature, click on your icon on the Google Maps app, and then head down to your timeline. If the feature isn't enabled already, you can turn it on, and then from that point, Maps will keep track of your journeys, and you can look back and see where you've gone. Another great feature I swear nobody talks about is the ability to share your location with others. Oftentimes people use location share, but they use other apps and don't realize you can actually do it within the Google Maps app itself. So to use this feature, just open the app, tap on your profile picture in the corner, then scroll down to location sharing. You can then choose from a variety of settings like how long to share your location for, and who you want to share it with. Another relatively recent Google Maps trick that nobody talks about is using augmented reality features to find stuff near you. This feature is honestly proof that we live in the future. To use this feature, open up the app, and in the search bar, look for this rainbow camera looking symbol. This will open up a new mode that will give you information based on what you point your phone at. Pretty crazy. There are some destinations out there as well that offer special AR content. So when you point at it, it'll tell you things like history, and in some extreme cases, it'll even go back in time and show you what things used to look like. And lastly, okay, just as a bonus, this is a silly fun one, but the Google Maps Street View mascot known as Pegman does actually change depending on different destinations. Unfortunately, it seems like many of these Easter eggs have gone away now, but one that remains is if you go over to Loch Ness, then Pegman actually becomes a little monster. So be sure to check that out for a little giggle, and be sure to keep your eyes peeled for other Easter eggs like this, because Google loves to pull little things like that, especially around holidays and April Fools. All right, let me know in the comments if there are any other tricks you want to share with your fellow travelers, and be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.